Hello, thank you again for joining me for another video. So in today's tutorial we are going to make round beaded bag handle, okay, and I'm going to use this 8mm pearl over here. That's what we are going to use to make this round beaded bag handle. I have here my beading wire. This is 50 pounds. This is the thickness of it. This is how it's looking like, and you need a scissors or pliers to cut any loose thread. So let me push this bead aside and let's get started. Let's start with 4 beads. Here's my line I cut, and I'm going to string all these 4 beads on the line. Here's the 4 bead on the line. So I'm going to hold this last bead and cross the other end of my line into it and pull like this. You pull the bead down like this. We have 1 flower done. So on each line I'm going to put one bead on each line like this. Then I'm going to cross into this one. I'm going to cross both ends of my line into the third one and pull. And here we have 2 flowers down. So on each line again I add one bead on each line. Then this is the third one. I'm crossing both ends of my line into it and pull. We are using 4 flower beading technique. So we are going to repeat the same thing again. On each line I put 1 bead on each line. Then I'm crossing into the third bead and pull. And here's how it's looking like. So we are repeating the same thing again. On each line I put 1 bead. I'm crossing into the third bead and pull like this. So now we are done with 5. 1 2 3 4 5. We did 5, and we are going to repeat this 37 times. Okay, we are going to repeat this 37 times. This is how the weave is looking like. So here I made 17. Okay, let's pretend I made my 37. So here 17, I made 17. We are going to pretend like this is my 37 that I made, and I want to show you how we are going to turn over here. So I'm going to turn on this one so we can start a new row. So I'm going to add my bead on the right line. You can add yours on the left if you are left-handed. So I'm going to add mine to the right line. I'm adding 3 beads to my right line like this, and I'm going to cross with the other line and pull. That way my line can turn on the side so I can start the second row. So on this line I'm going to add 3 beads, cross and pull. I'm going to pull my line through the next bead over here, this bead. I'm pulling through the next bead, and I'm going to add 2 beads to my line. Into the next bead, I'll be adding 2 beads to my left line. I'm going to go through the next bead, and I'll be adding 2 beads to my line. I'm going to cross and pull. Into the next one, I'm adding 2 beads to my left line. 2 beads. So here is how the weave is looking like. I'm going to go through this one again, and I'll be adding 2 beads. I add 2 beads to my left line. And this is how it's looking like. We are going to continue to the end. Okay, so here I'm about to complete this row, and I'm going to go through my last bead. So I'm pulling my line through this last bead over here, and on the same line, this one, I'm going to add 2 beads to my line. I'm going to add 2 beads like this. Then I'm going to cross the last bead with the other end of my line and pull. Okay, so here I'm just gonna flip it over so we can start the third row. Now on this line, I'm going to add 3 beads. I'm adding 3 beads to it. I'm going to cross and pull. I'm going to go through the next bead and I'll be adding 2 beads. I'm going to cross and pull, and I'm going to go into the next bead, add 2 beads to my line, cross and pull. Now I'm going to pull my line again into the next bead, go through the next bead. I'm adding 2 beads to my line, 2 beads. I'm going to go into the next one again, this one. I'm adding 2 beads to my line, into the next bead, 2 beads. So this is how the weave is looking like, and I'm going to continue, go through the edge bead and complete this row. So we are making only 3 rows over here. We are going to complete this. We are not going to make any other row. This is 1, 2, 3. That's all we are going to make. So I'm going to complete this one and make my 37 rows. Then I'll meet you back here. And here is my 37 that I made. This is how long it looks like. Okay. And this is in 3 rows. We make only 3 rows. So what we are going to do over here is we are going to fold in. I'm going to fold in this like this. Just fold it and fold. I'm going to fold in it. This is how it's looking like. And here's my line. And I'm going to show you how we are going to close this. So here's the piece that I made, okay? The edge bead over here, that's where I'm going to pull my line through. So I pull my line through this edge bead. Okay, and here's my other end of the line. I'm going to add, first I'm going to add 1 bead to the line. This is the bead. I'm going to put it on the line. Then I'm going to pull the second end of my line through this edge bead like this. Then pull, and it's going to pull everything close to you. Then I'm going to take 1 bead again, cross both ends of my line into it and pull. Cross it and pull like this. I'm going to pull my line into this bead. And the other line, I'm going to pull through the bead on the opposite side. This one into this one. Then I'm going to take 1 bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull. This technique and style is good for beginners. Beginners can make this handle into the next bead. I'm going to pull this line through the next bead. Because it's easy and straightforward to make, every beginner can make this. I'm going to pull this one through the opposite bead and pull. I'm going to take 1 bead and cross both ends of my line into it and pull like this. This is how the weave is looking like. You see, I'm going to go to the next bead again. I'm going to hold this line, go to the next bead. Then I'm going to take 1 bead and cross both ends of my line into it and pull. And this is how we are going to make it until we complete this weave. Into the next bead, I'm going to pull the other line through the next bead. I'm going to take 1 bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull. This is all we are going to repeat for this. This is how it's looking like. Very beautiful. So continue to do yours and I'll do mine off camera. So we are going to do this and complete this piece that we made. Okay, now here is mine. I completed mine. And I'm going to show you how we are going to put the two ends together to take the round shape that we want. So here, this is how the weave is looking like. You can call it cubic right angle weave. And here is how we are going to put the two ends together to make that shape. And here's my line. I have my line cut over here. So here we are going to work with these 4 beads on the top, okay? So I'm going to put the two together like this to align them together. Make sure it's lined, the 4 corners of the bead lined together. Now here's my line. I'm going to pull my line through one of the edge bead, this one. I'm going to pull it through the top bead over here, this one, okay? Here's my other end. I'm going to add 1 bead to the line like this. I'm going to add 1 bead to the line before I pull it through the next bead, this one. I pull it through and pull together like this. Then I'm going to pick up 1 bead and I'm going to cross both ends of my line into it and pull. Cross and pull. So now we are going to go into the next bead. This line into the next bead, this one. Remember, let me open it. Remember, we are working with the 4 bead over there. So this is the next one. We are going to put our line through. So I pull my line through this, and I'm going to hold the opposite line and go through the same bead on the opposite piece, on the opposite end, this one. I'm pulling my line through it, pull. Now again, I'm going to take 1 bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull like this. So keep pulling tight. Now the next bead, this line, I'm going to go through the next bead again, this one, this and this one right here. So I'm pulling my line through this bead. I'm going to hold the other one and pull through the next bead on the opposite side like this. Now I'm going to take 1 bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull. When this bead gets into that spot, it's going to take the round shape right away like this. Just pull tight. You see how it takes shape already, like this. Now I'm going to pull my line through the next bead. Pull it through this bead. The other end, I'm going to pull through this one. So right now what we have to do is to lock our line and make it tight. This bead, I'm pulling it through this bead. Now I'm going to cross into this bead over here. Cross into it and pull. Pull and pull tight. Okay? And there you have it. This is your round shape beaded bag handle. And this is how it's made the simple way. And everyone can do it. What I'm going to do now, the rest of the line, I'm just going to weave it back into the bead and pull it tight to make it strong and firm. That's all I'm going to repeat over here. That's what I'm going to do here. So I'm weaving the line through all the beads over here as far as it can take me to weave and pull tight. Make sure it's well secured enough before I trim the rest of the end off. This is how it's looking like. Very, very beautiful. You can use your hand to mold it and give it a little shape, tug it a little bit, and it will give you the round shape. So this handle is a normal average handle everybody use. It measured 20 centimeters and 6 inches in diameter. This is the measurement of this one. Unless you want it big, then you can increase your width and make it bigger. But this is the normal average measurement for the bag. Unless you want it bigger, then you can increase your width and make it bigger. So this is how it's looking like. I'm going to trim all those lines off. I'm going to weave it, and here's another one. So with this one, I make 42 long before I put it together, and the white one is 37. And this is how this one is looking like, very big. It's a big circle. Here's a yellow one I made, the same measurement, and here is the gold. But the gold is the same measurement, but the only difference is the beads are very tiny. That's why it looks a little smaller. So these are the measurements of the bag that you can make, average normal measurement. So yeah, this is how it's done. I thank you for joining me again in this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications for new videos that I'll be uploading. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.